Today, we are embarking on a heartwarming adventure called Crabnapped, a land hermit trap story by Vanessa Pike-Russell and Geoff Pike. The story follows Rocky and Crusty, two land hermit traps from Broome, Western Australia. The story highlights their need for seashells to protect their soft abdomens. Their adventure takes a dramatic turn when they are captured and sent to a pet store in Sydney, where they suffer in poor conditions. Megan, the owner, learns about proper care for hermit traps and contacts the Land Hermit Trap Owners Society, where the traps are then shipped and taken to a well-maintained habitat under Sharon's care. The book emphasizes the importance of proper care for hermit traps and details their biological processes like molting and reproduction. Crabnapped is a delightful and informative tale which teaches children about responsible pet ownership and the fascinating world of land hermit traps. Ready to hear the story? Let's begin! Crabnapped, a land hermit trap story by Vanessa Pike-Russel and Geoff Pike. Illustrated by Anastasia Obrysikova. Rocky and Crusty are two land hermit traps from tropical Broome, Western Australia. In the heat of the day, the land hermit traps hide beneath leaf litter or in trees and sleep. At sundown, you can see hermit crabs on the beaches or mangroves in search of food. There, they meet other crabs, including Moxie the scary soldier crab, Brutus the huge mud crab, and Fitzy the fiddler crab, who has one claw much bigger than the other. Rocky and Crusty are different to the other crabs in one big way. They carry a seashell on their abdomen, belly and tail, as they didn't develop a tough outer shell like the other crabs. It is soft and vulnerable and needs protection. It looks much like the shape of a curled finger. It slips within the safety of a borrowed marine or land snail shell, much like we would slip our feet inside a pair of shoes. That's why a hermit crab uses seashells and holds its abdomen inside the seashell, held with its sauropod and fourth and fifth legs. The seashell holds water, which helps keep their lungs moist so that they can breathe through their gills. They are tropical land hermit crabs and cannot live long in low temperatures and low humidity. The seashell also protects them from other animals. When they are scared, they often tuck inside their shell and cover the hole with their claw in a tight fit. One day, Rocky and Crusty found some seashells that looked to be just right for them. Rocky held on to the first seashell, a lovely turban shell, and quickly moved his abdomen from inside the seashell he had been living in and slipped it into the new shell. He moved from side to side to see if it fit him well. It did. Crusty then looked at the other shell and decided that Rocky's shell looked like it would fit just right. And it did. They were much happier in their new shells and waved their antennae happily. Land hermit crabs store water in their shell to keep them from drying out and to protect them. When hermit crabs grow bigger, they need to find a new seashell to move their abdomen into. It's a bit like when young children's feet grow so quickly and the shoes get tight and uncomfortable. Not every land hermit crab has the same size and shape of the abdomen. So sometimes you'll find them trying different styles of seashells on for size, just like with shoes. The other crabs laugh at them after watching them switch shells and chant, "You're land hermit crabs. You're not real crabs. Toughen up. Go away." Poor Rocky and Crusty walk away, antennae low. Saddened up by their words, they cheer each other up, decide that they love their seashells and will not let the words of the other crabs hurt them They will look for other land hermit crabs to befriend. They feel and taste with two sets of antennae. The two long ones are for feeling around, and the two smaller bent ones are used for smelling and hearing. They love feasting on prawns, dead fish, and other tasty things washed up on the beach. One day, Rocky and Crusty are sadly snatched from the beach at sunset and kidnapped by a hermit crab supplier who puts them into a box and sends them by courier to a Sydney pet store. They are very scared and huddle together, not knowing what will happen next. The pet store owner opens the box and takes out Rocky and Crusty and places them in the glass tank. They dig down as deep as they can and hide. They are huddled together. After a while, they look around their new home. It is so small and overcrowded, and there is nowhere to hide. They are cold-blooded animals, and if they are not kept warm, they will become inactive to conserve body warmth and eventually die from the stress of the cold. They meet Rough and Tumble, who comes from the Northern Territory and has a much darker exoskeleton, outer skin, than Rocky and Crusty. He loves to show off and climb up the driftwood tree and sometimes makes a plonk noise when he falls. He just gets up again and climbs once more. There's Dennis the Menace, always into trouble. They also meet Barry, who is deep red and comes from northern Queensland. He looks like he has sunburn. He is so red. Their tank only has a few centimeters of sand for them to dig in and nothing to hide in. They become homesick and talk about their homes and family. The bright lights and lack of shelter make them very unhappy. A few days later, a family appears at the hermit crab tank and buys all 5 hermit crabs. Sean loves hermit crabs, but they keep dying on him, says Mom Megan. Hopefully, these hermit crabs last longer. They are taken home to Sean's home, and the very small plastic tank is their new home. They can't breathe properly because there isn't enough humidity for them. It gets cold at night, and they snuggle up together to get warm. Brrr. They have less and less energy and dig down as much as they can in the colored pebbles, wishing they had some sand or leaf litter to dig in. They try to escape and almost do, but don't reach the top. Drats! Megan looks into the hermit crab tank and finds Barry the hermit crab out of his seashell. He is very stressed and cannot survive long without it. Megan does some research and learns that they need a tropical environment with stable temperature and humidity, proper nutrition, and a larger habitat or Crabitat. They require more care and expense than what the pet store advised. She decides that she needs to find a home for Sean's hermit crabs. Megan finds the Crab Street Journal magazine website, a not-for-profit website created by members of the Land Hermit Crab Owners Society. She learns about the Land Hermit Crab Owners Society Adoption Center and fills out the online form. She is contacted by Sharon, a local representative from the Land Hermit Crab Owners Society Adoption Center, who agrees to visit Megan and Sean and pick up the crabs in their plastic tank. Megan is relieved to know they will be cared for in a loving home. Sean and Megan wave goodbye to Sharon, who turns to smile at Rock and Crusty, Rough and Tumble. She carries them gently to her car, where there are some treats for them, mango and banana with coconut curls. Everyone digs in hungrily and waves their antennae happily. Delicious! At Sharon's, they are taken to the 6 feet, 182 centimeters Crabitat. The first thing they notice is that the sand is 25 centimeters high. plenty to dig down in. There are plastic plants, coconut huts, and half logs to hide in. When they are put inside the tank, they notice the air is lovely and humid and they can breathe properly. It is nice and warm and they are reminded of their homes before they were kidnapped. Sharon keeps the temperature about 26 degrees Celsius and humidity between 70 to 85% relative humidity. There are many shells of different types and sizes available to try on. Mangrove root branches to climb on. Amazing! They are so happy that they are finally in their forever home. More treats are added to the tank. This time it is prawn, popcorn and mealworms. Yum! They eat and eat until their bellies are full. They drink from both the freshwater and saltwater pools and then find a spot for them to curl up together happily. One day, Rocky digs down deep into the sand. His exoskeleton or outer skin is so tight that he is very uncomfortable. He is starting the process called molting, where the outer skin or exoskeleton becomes too tight for the growing abdomen. So they shed the exoskeleton as a cicada does. He then eats the shed exoskeleton and develops a new exoskeleton or outer skin over time with the right diet and environment. He will need to eat food rich in protein and calcium, which Sharon has added to the food bowl. Sharon leaves Rocky in peace and waits until he recovers from the molting process with fresh, pointy tips on the ends of his legs and little leg hairs as well. She is so happy he survived molting, which many hermit crabs do not, especially when they have been in poor conditions and diet. He nibbles on a little cuttlebone powder, some spirulina powder, and mealworms in one bowl, whilst popcorn, peanut butter, honey, and banana are in another. Yummy! Rocky is bigger now and needs a new seashell. After inspecting all the shells for the size of opening, weight, shape, and whether they are watertight, he finally changes into a turban shell. He walks up to Crusty and their antennae meet in greeting. "Hello, Rocky," says Crusty. "I've missed you. I love your new shell. Can I try on your old one? I've outgrown mine too." "Sure, go ahead," says Rocky happily. It's a good seashell. It doesn't have holes or leaks and is tough. "I think it will look great on you." Quickly, Crusty changes out of the seashell, which has become tight after eating and drinking to his heart's content. "That's better," he cries happily. He introduces Rocky to Peek and Boo, the tiny hermit crabs that always sit together. They are so cute and love to eat popcorn and honey, the most of all the food available. Their exoskeleton is cream in color and they have little brown stitch marks on their claws. Then there is Wiggle and Giggle, who loves hiding in the half log. They then spy Shifty and Nifty, who is often found climbing on the crocheted ladder towards the seashell ledge up very high. Houdini, who is always trying to escape the Crabitat, keeping Sharon busy. Tumbler is the hermit crab that falls from the driftwood tree over and over again. Rocky and Crusty are so happy and live a long life with Sharon. They love their new family, daily treats, and the many shells to try on. They are now happy land hermit crabs. One day, Sharon notices Shifty and Nifty and Wiggle and Giggle are getting very close. A few days later, she sees an egg sac on Wiggle and Giggle's abdomen. Wiggle and Giggle and Shifty and Nifty are going to be parents. Land hermit crabs can mate in captivity when they have the right environment and nutrition. It doesn't happen for everyone, but it can happen. Once the eggs mature, Wiggle and Giggle releases them into the ocean water pool inside Sharon's Crabitat. Sharon is nearby and sees this happen and gently, ever so gently, moves the eggs which have now hatched into baby land hermit crabs, also known as zoea. When wild land hermit crabs reproduce, the eggs are released into the sea with the teeny tiny plankton and krill that other fish and crustaceans like to eat. The baby land hermit crab eggs were released into the water by their land-dwelling mother, who could also spend small amounts of time underwater. Wow! Sharon contacts Mary Akers from Hermit House 501C, a non-profit organization with a captive breeding program for land hermit crabs, and learns how to create a special chrysal nursery. A chrysal is a special tank ready to raise the zoea and feeds them teeny tiny plankton and krill, spirulina flakes and other yummy foods for growing baby hermit crabs. The water moves and they go, wee, as they tumble and swim around. They start growing to look more like hermit crabs. After a few weeks, the baby hermit crabs develop into land hermit crabs, adopt a seashell and come onto land and learn how to breathe the air with special gills that act as lungs. Magic! Sharon has all manner of food for the tiny land hermit crabs and lots of things for them to climb on and hide in. So many seashells to explore, sand to dig in, and food to eat. They play happily through the day and night. She finds them forever homes through the Land Hermit Crab Owner Society Adoption Center. The end? Or is it just the beginning? Each purchase of this book will also be supporting Hermit House, a non-profit organization with a captive breeding program for land hermit crabs. A donation of $2 per book will be made to Hermit House 501 C3, a captive breeding program for land hermit crabs, which mentors and supports potential land hermit crab breeders, educates the public on the capture and abuse of wild hermit crabs for the pet trade.